Namaste viewers and welcome to Amazing Vedas with Dr. Pariksith Singh. Thank you, Dr. Singh, for joining us and also for writing this book, Vedas for Gen Z. You know, viewers, especially younger viewers, we've been trying to open up the Vedas to you in many different ways. And in this next tweet that Dr. Singh has posted on the platform X, which I'm going to invite him to read, it tells you the simplest way to open your heart and the deeper understanding of what Agni really means. Request him to read it and then we'll discuss it. But I'll give you a hint. I think Guru Nanak said, Sabse Uchi Prem Sagai. Go ahead, Dr.
Yeah, that's right. Dhai Akhar Prem Ka. I think that's it. Right, remember? Milya Kabir. Rig Veda 1.1.1. The secret of secrets. Let me share with you the understanding that opened my heart. It came from the mother, Pondicherry, with elegant simplicity. Agni is divine love. That's it. No other intellectual explanation or acrobatics. It is that simple flame within that is always free of all our limitations. Yes, it is tiny because we have never tended to it. But it is pure, Agni Pavaka, and it can burn away all impurities. It is always rising upwards, this Agni, through all my sorrows and failures, my regrets and disenchantments. It is the divine within, that quiet little voice, the inconceivable concept where my mind finally gives up all its attainments and surrenders everything. But it can grow into the universe if I nourish it with all my offerings, for everything is its doing, all belongs to it. It is the psychic, the Chaitya Purusha, the true Antaratman. It is my soul that in its minuteness holds all my bodies together. How do I find it? Through stillness, through gentle harmony, through gratitude, through that quiet love that is behind my deepest feelings, behind all the pain. It holds me together, unfailing, unfazed, loyal, that which may never be injured. But it is there, unmistakably alive, staring right in your face, your eyes, but unseen, but unobtrusive. The most important nothing in the world. It has no use except to bear witness to the truth. Agni.
That's so beautiful. You know, viewers, many times in the, Aurobindonian sadhana of integral yoga, the first step, as the mother said, is the coming to the fore, the forefront, the fronting, the awakening of the psychic being. And many people don't understand what that is, frankly. They are very confused. But I think that, when you read the Veda, or when you return to the Veda, or when the Vedas open themselves up to you, you begin to see many of these things in a different light. And, the very first verse of the Veda of, stoking that fire within, and then the awakening of the Chaitya Purusha, all of this becomes, I think, interrelated. And when many people ask me, like, how do you discover that psychic? And I say, have you never felt love? And hardly any of us can say that we have never felt love. Let me explain what I mean. I mean, of course, romantic love is a wonderful, I would say, avenue to awaken that psyche, with it. Because when you feel so deeply for another person, right? But even as a child, you see, when the mother reaches out to you, the baby doesn't need any mental processing. They just leap into the mother's arms or even the father's arms. So the point is that something in us is programmed. It's inherent in us to respond to love. And then when you really understand the way that love operates in this universe, then I can tell you that even a rock cannot resist the power of love, because love is entirely impersonal at one level, it is entirely unselfish and pure at another level. And so I myself, as I said once, I guess in our own podcast, experienced this. I went to Pondy for the first time. I was roaming around. I was in the wrong place, etc., etc. And finally, I was very, very hungry. And I got my dining room coupon, and I walked in, and there are these very grim-faced people. They don't want outsiders to come in, and they check my pass. You take, and there I saw the mother's photo, and I felt such an outpouring of love coming from the mother, from her photo towards me, that it was irresistible. So to me, the psychic opening comes because of the irresistible love, that the divine has for you, which is expressed in a myriad forms. It can be in a flower, it can be in a beautiful sunset, it can be in the flow of the river, the water. So when people used to say Jesus loves you, on their car bumper or the sticker, I didn't understand it, but now I think I do. Because whenever you see something that uplifts you, and it's completely causeless, in other words, you didn't do anything for it, like the smile of a stranger. Someone picks up, you drop something, they just pick it up and you say thank you. You shouldn't see it as one individual. It's the divine reaching out to you, in my opinion. So what I'm trying to say is that instead of looking for that Chaitya Purusha, or for the psychic being within and somehow trying to uncork it or unlock it, you will realize that the universe is reaching out to you in a myriad ways and forms every single day, and showing its miracle to you in the sunset, in the sunrise, in that moonbeam, in that drop of soma. You see kindness, you see love, you see generosity, and you immediately respond. There's nothing to it. It is not a transaction. It is an exchange, which is no, should I say, it has no give and take of the regular kind, no calculation. So my point is, there's hardly any human being, even the most hardened among us, who doesn't respond. And the story of Angulimal and the Buddha illustrates that. Angulimal was a notorious criminal, if you want to call it, maybe a serial killer or whatever. And every victim of his, he cut off a finger, and he made a garland of these fingers. It's a horrible story, but and the Tathagata, the Buddha, that he who walks that way, Tathagata. Anyhow, he was walking that way, and all these people said, "Oh, sir, please don't go there," because he says, "Why not?" He says, "Because there's this notorious criminal there who is a very cruel man, and he essentially, for no reason, he kills people, even good people he kills." And the Buddha just smiled and walked on. And the story goes that this man, this fierce man, comes towards the Buddha with his raised, his khadaga, that is a kind of cleaver that he's got. And the Buddha looks at him and smiles at him with so much love, because he doesn't see that fierce form. He sees the spirit, and Angulimal has never experienced love and acceptance, of the kind that the Buddha affords him. And, his traumatic past and whatever he underwent as a child. And he just falls at the Buddha's feet, and he says, "Please take me as your disciple." Because I guess we're all craving for love. And I think that we have it within us to respond to love. So I'm saying, if you just look at that thing within you that responds to love, that is your psychic being, and let it come to the fore. And I think that if you, as it were, if you strike that fire, and I was just thinking, I keep thinking about the Veda, And I was thinking about that song by Jim Morrison, who was this cult rock, hard rock cult figure, who died, for heaven's sake. He died because of an overdose, of substance, of drugs. And his cemetery in Paris is a, place where people go and, place a wreath. And if you hear his songs, they're actually mind blowing, okay? And you know what he says? He says, "Come on, baby, light my fire. Shine on and set the night on fire." What is that? This is that Agni that we are talking about. He's saying, "Light my fire." I mean, so fundamentally, he is an Agnihotri of the modern period who through
He
his
may have
music.
had some sexual angle to it, but
Why not? But why not? That
That's
is
okay.
Tantra. It can light your fire. I mean,
Yeah.
after all, and the psychic being can come to the fore.
Yes,
That's my point.
Kamagni.
It is an Agni. But
Yes.
I'm saying my point is whatever the trigger, if you listen to the song and if you
Yes,
listen
yes.
to the synthesizer, and it's really, and see, I want to illustrate it. I want to take it seriously because he says, "Break on through to the other side."
Yes.
What is this other side that he wants to take you
Yes,
to?
that's right.
So it is a transformation of consciousness that he's asking for. Whatever the trigger, we don't necessarily approve or endorse his triggers, whether it's sex or whatever else he was doing. Fine, but the aim was the same. That's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say.
Yes. No, he was. I loved his The End. This is the End. Riders on the Storm.
My
Amazing.
goodness, Riders on the Storm, amazing.
Yeah. And This is the End. If you listen to This is the End, where he's talking about this again, he talks about this murderer. There's a killer on the road, and he's talking about that's actually Riders on the Storm, but this is the end.
Like Riders of the Storm.
And he talks about that, and you lose everything, it's gone. This is the end, my only friend. And then the music, almost for I think 2 minutes, the riff he takes off is just absolutely gorgeous. So yeah. See, great artists, they're able to touch something and transform it. Great art can change you in that one instant. And that's
Because it touches your psychic being. This is all I was trying to
Yes.
say, that let's
Yes.
not make the psychic being into some very esoteric thing that is very hard to touch. No, it's in you. It's your living
Yes.
pulse.
Yes.
How you spontaneously respond. And I just wanted to go back to what you said, that Agni is the flame of divine love. And as T.S. Eliot said, when the rose, and the flame should be one.
Yes.
That's what Dante also
Yes.
talks about. When the
Yes.
fire and the rose shall
Become
be
one.
one.
Yes,
Shall
yes,
become one.
absolutely. It is, and it comes through Mirabai's. You see, Majnu, Laila. You will see that intense love, where the psychic love becomes so strong. The love becomes, and it transcends itself, and it subsumes everything. In the story of Laila and Majnu, you see that it subsumes everything. It transforms the world. Everything gets changed. It transforms things. And someday we can talk about that story. But that is that pure love, which we see that Radha Krishna in our own tradition, that purity of love the gopis have for Sri Krishna. Gopi, the beings of light, or Govinda, the one who discovers light, who finds light, like you were talking about, Govardhana. That is all. I see it as a very symbolic. Gopala, he finds that light, that inner light. So absolutely,
He nurtures it. He nurtures it. He nourishes it.
Yes,
the inner
yes,
light. He protects it. He guides it. He's the guardian of the light, in fact. And speaking about love as the easiest way, look at the Sufis at their best. Fundamentally, what they're saying is you can never reach God if you do not have love in your heart.
Yes.
And they also say if you have love for God in your heart, you will also have love for your fellow human beings.
Yes.
And any Sufi, so-called Sufi, who claims to be a Sufi, who is actually, stirring hatred, cannot be a Sufi.
That's right.
I have met some of the greatest of the Sufis and the Chishtiya order, and why the Chishti order has survived in India. Why in the Agra fort, the only grave of a saint is of the Chishti order, Salim Chishti, is because, they were saints of love. And they said, if you can't love, your fellow human beings, you can never love God.
That's right. That's right. In fact, Rumi, right from Rumi and even before that, that was the ancient tradition. Of course, it got corrupted, and we see that corrupted even in different, faiths and all, even in Ajmer. But coming back to that sacredness of love, we see that, and we see that in Saint Teresa of Avila in the Christian mysticism. We see that very powerful Saint John of the Cross, how intense it is, how passionate, and of course in our Vaishnava tradition. So yes, all these are manifestations of that pure love, and that is what the mother means. She doesn't give any explanations. This is the way it is. That's it, and take it like a typical mother. But agape, Sri Aurobindo, if you remember that line, the root aga, he traces it to that Greek word
Agni,
agape,
yeah.
and which is
Yeah.
selfless love or divine love.
Ignis. It is Ignis after all.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the flood of love that Bhakti unleashed, it irradiated and inundated the land. And it produced thousands of blossoms, north, south, east, and west. We'll do a program on it someday. But they understood it, and it was able to resist the worst of tyrannies in North India. You see, and they were completely unarmed, and they sang and they danced and they created a flood of love. And as I said, in one of our conversations, Dr. Singh, that, the politics of embrace, in a way, prevents the politics of the sword. Because if you embrace somebody, how can they take out a sword and cut you down? Because you're embracing them. So, and that embrace went beyond caste and community and religion, in fact. And there were many, many Muslim Krishna bhakts as well.
Yes.
And one great Vaishnav told me, he told me in Hindi that आपकी भक्ति की परिपक्वता की कसौटी वो है कि जब आप हर चीज में कृष्ण देखेंगे, हर चीज आपके लिए कृष्णमय होगी, तब तक आपने कुछ नहीं पाया. Imagine that everything has to become Krishnamaya. That is, it should be filled with that sweetness, and as I think George Harrison said, my sweet Lord, really want to feel you, really want to know you.
Yeah.
So Gen Z, what we are talking about is not something in the past, something that is, either very esoteric or, very severe and narrow, but we're really talking about this flow, of energy, of acceptance, of inclusion, a kind of universal energy, if you will. Am I right, Dr. Singh? Your concluding remarks?
Absolutely. I think that is the secret. We have various explanations given for Agni, what it means, but it's a symbol. So a symbol can be many things to many people. To me, it is that fire inside me that is always there, always safe, always protected. It is the fire not just in my heart, it's the fire in the stone, it is the fire in the sky, it is the fire in the sun, it is the fire in the vegetation. How beautifully it's described. So suddenly I'm connected to the whole universe. It's a really beautiful symbol. How it's a connecting symbol. It's one symbol that holds all the universe together in this great ecosystem of symbols that the Veda has. So thank you. I mean, you brought it out very nicely. And we see that fire comes through every religion today, uses that symbolism of fire somehow or the other. You will find it. It is always there. So, and again, another singer, Billy Joel, remember, we didn't light the fire. It was always burning.
Always burning.
The world was turning. So, yeah.
Beautiful. And it reminds me of that song. I think it's Bruce Springsteen. You can light a fire even if you're dancing in the dark. So we are all dancing in the dark, friends, but we can still light a fire. Thank you. With those words, Thank you, Dr. Singh, once again. I hope you're enjoying this podcast. Please join in, subscribe, like, share, and support our endeavor to bring the Vedas back to you as a living stream and current and not, dead letter. With those words, namaste. Thank you.